Hello, my name is Anniken. Welcome to today's video where I'm going to talk about my designs for the latest issue of Knitting magazine. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and you can find all the links to everything I'm going to talk about below this video, and you can also find links to my online classes, my in-person workshops and my pattern shops, and how to sign up to my newsletter on my website YarnAddict.co.uk. But everything I'm going to talk about in this video will specifically be linked below as well. So I'm going to talk about my designs for Knitting Magazine issue 239. Now, I'm filming this between Christmas and New Year, the day after the magazine actually was published in the UK, but I haven't received my copy yet, which is quite unusual because it normally arrives a few days earlier. But I think it's because we've had a lot of postal strikes lately, and then obviously with like Christmas parcels and the increase in post in general at Christmas time, I think post is still just a little bit delayed, which is fine. But I have seen the pictures of my designs and the actual samples have been returned to me. So I will include a couple of pictures of these designs, the official pictures from the magazine. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. And I hope you enjoyed this video. So I actually have two patterns in this issue, which is quite unusual. Usually it's just one pattern, but I have two patterns in this issue. I have a brioche cowl scarf thing, and then I have a sweater. So we'll talk about the brioche project first, and then I'll tell you about the sweater afterwards. I decided to do them both in the same video rather than splitting them because I think it's easier. So I put them both on my dress form. The sweater is underneath, and I'll put the brioche cowl over the top. Now this is a Mobius brioche cowl scarf, but it's not knitted as a Mobius. So normally when you knit a Mobius, you would cast on with a twist in it. You will, if you've been watching my Vlogmas videos and my podcast videos this autumn, you will have seen me knit a couple of Mobius cowls, and you normally cast on in a kind of loop, double circle with a twist in it, and you knit in both directions at the same time. I didn't do that with this one. With this one, I decided I want to knit it as a rectangle. So it's just knitted flat as a rectangle, and then at the end, I've seamed it together here. That's actually the wrong side of the seam. I didn't notice that, so that's the wrong side of the seam, and that is the right side of the seam. So I just knitted it as a rectangle, and then I seamed it together at the end. So I'm just going to put this back on the dress form with the right side of the seam out. So what you do is you cast on, you knit it as a rectangle, and then when you get to the end, you make one twist in the fabric. So if you lay flat on the table or the floor, you just take one end and twist it once over, and then you seam the ends together. You don't have to do that. You can just seam it together as it is without a twist, or you can just leave it unseamed if you prefer. It is fairly wide, so this dress form is, I guess, probably equivalent to a size 10 to 12 maybe. So it is fairly wide, the fabric is fairly wide. So if you wanted to make a narrower fabric but longer, you can cut up on one or two pattern repeats. So each one of these is a pattern repeat. So you can cut up one or two of those and then make a narrower fabric but make it longer. So it starts here, it's knitted in one direction, and then when you get to the end, you twist it and sew it together, and that you can see that there are purple as the main right side color going that way, and the natural color going that way. So let me turn it back to the right side again. You can bunch it up and wear it as a scarf, more bunched up around your neck, and you can twist it around twice and wear it more as a bunched up cowl. I think it might be a little bit tight if you do that. The other thing is, because obviously when I'm designing patterns and I'm knitting the sample, I need to make sure that there is enough leeway in the yarn amount that I recommend so that people won't run out of yarn. So I tend to allow, usually for shawls and scarves and things, usually about 10 grams of each color. So you will probably have enough yarn to actually work another repeat of each of the brioche pattern. You may have enough to work 2 repeats. I can't remember how much each repeat weighed. So if you want it slightly longer, you probably have enough to make it just a little bit longer. If you wanted a lot longer, then you'd either need more yarn or you'd have to make it narrower. So there is a lot of flexibility. You can knit it as written in the pattern, or you can leave it as a rectangle, or you can make it narrower and longer. You can make it shorter and just sew together like a regular loop. There's loads of different options that you can do. And if you have any specific questions about that, just ask me below this video, or you can always email me when you actually start knitting this project. So let's talk about the yarn. I knitted this in Macintosh Rich Tweed DK. No, hang on, that's not right. Donegal Rich Tweed DK. I've written it all down so we get it right. So I've knitted this in Macintosh Donegal Rich Tweed DK. It's gorgeous yarn and I love the colours. I don't know how the camera picks it up, but the tweedy bits are actually multicoloured. So let me see if I can bring it closer to the camera, because I don't know if the camera is picking that up. But can you see the tweedy bits are actually multicoloured? I don't know how easy it is to see that, but the tweeds are actually little specks of different colours. So I really like that. It looks gorgeous. The colourways I used, I'm not actually sure which colourway is which, but I used Erigal, which is spelled E-R-R-I-G-A-L. Again, I'll try and put it on the screen. And Ardara, A-R-D-A-R-A. And I understand, I think if I remember correctly, that these are places in Ireland near where I think it was James's grandfather is from. James Mackintosh is the owner and dyer behind Mackintosh Yarns. And I'm sure he told me that the tweed is named after places in Ireland where his grandfather is from. I'm sure I got that right. Apologies if I got it wrong. Which is probably why I can't pronounce the names, because I find Irish very difficult to pronounce. Okay, so you need 200 gram skeins of each colour to make this. Absolutely beautiful. I love this. The brioche is not too difficult, so if you're brand new to brioche and you haven't done brioche before, I do recommend just practicing basic 2-color brioche rib first, just to get the hang of that, and then you can go into this stitch pattern. It's not a difficult stitch pattern, and I do have some videos to help you. I will link to those below this video. I will also have a brioche online course coming out hopefully in February, but we'll see how we get on. Definitely by March, I would say, but maybe February. So if you're new to brioche, or you've done a little bit of basic brioche and you want a project that's will improve your skills, this will be perfect. And if you've done quite a lot of brioche, you will probably find this a fairly easy project to do. But yeah, really happy with this. Absolutely love it. The yarn is gorgeous. The colors are gorgeous. There is a choice of different semi-solid colorways. Macintosh yarns specialize in kind of solid, semi-solid colorway, so because it's hand dyed, some of them do have a slight variation, but they're not, I don't think he does speckled and self-striping and variegated colorways. They are mostly solid, semi-solid colorways. So that is the Mobius cowl shawl wrap, whatever you want to call it. That's what it looks like on the back, and that's what it looks like on the front, and I absolutely love that. So let's take that off the dress form. Actually, let's just put it on me quickly, just to show you what it looks like on me, because I'm a lot bigger than your average model, and I haven't actually tried this on yet. So it's not always that easy to like put it on yourself and make sure it's like draped properly and stuff. And I'm not going to stand up because I don't have a lot of space, but even on me, who's quite big, it does, if I just tilt that down a little bit, you can actually see another Macintosh sweater there. Even on me, it does come down to kind of my waist. So even on me, who's quite tall and quite a large size, probably like twice as big as the average model in terms of my size, it does come down to kind of like my waist. So I can wear this just as a wrap, shrug type thing to cover up my upper body, my shoulders. It'd be quite nice if it's a bit chilly, and if I was going out and wearing a coat, I could just bunch it up around my neck and wear it as a scarf, just loose like that. And because it is attached, it has the advantage that it doesn't like fall off. And then I could also wrap it around, if you wanted like really bunched up, you could wrap it around your neck if it's really cold. So I'm going to take that off because that is going to get too hot very quickly because it's not that cold today. Okay, so let me take that off because it will get too hot in here. So beautiful yarn, beautiful design. I'm very happy with that. James from Macintosh Yarns actually create kits on his website for all the magazine designs that uses this yarn. So if you go to his website, you will be able to buy a kit for this design, which has the right yarn, and it also has a copy of the magazine. So you get the yarn and the magazine. So I'll put a link to that below. It is an affiliate link, which means that if you make a purchase, I will get a small commission. It doesn't cost you anything more, but if you use my affiliate link, I would really, really appreciate it. So that is the Mobius wrap. And obviously there are a lot of options within that pattern for you to do something slightly different and be using the same pattern. Okay, and then we got this sweater, which is a fairly classic sweater with a little bit of a cable detail on the left hand side, and it is the same on the back. So the cables meet at the shoulders here. They line up perfectly at the shoulders, which is something I like to do. Very simple sweater. It is knitted in the round to the underarms, which is my favorite construction, which you may have worked out by now if you've been watching my videos for a while. So it's knitted in the round to the underarms. Then it's split, and the front and back is knitted separately to the shoulders. Then you do a 3 needle cast off across the shoulders, which if you haven't done that before, is very easy to do. And then you pick up stitches around the armhole, and then you knit short rows across the top of the sleeve to make a sleeve cap, and then you knit the sleeves in the round all the way down. I think I have a video on this. If I do, I will link it below, but it isn't difficult construction at all. And then at the end, all you need to do is pick up stitches for the neckband, weave in your ends, and you are done. And the yarn for this one is sheepies, I think is closer to Skepies, but let's face it, nobody knows how to pronounce it properly in the UK. But it's Skepies. It is Merino Soft DK. It's the same yarn as I used for a previous design a couple of months ago. It was a bright green sweater with beads on it. Can't remember whether it was the last issue. No, I think it was one before. I think it might have been 2 issues ago. I used the same yarn in a very bright green colour. Comes in a huge array of colorways. It's a very nice basic merino blend yarn. It is 50% superwash merino and then 25% microfiber and 25% acrylic. So it's not 100% merino, but it's superwash. I haven't washed it, so I don't know how well it washes, but I would always hand wash it, even if it says superwash, to be perfectly honest. But it is a really nice yarn to knit with, and I do like it. Well, my sample knitters knitted this up, and it was the same sample knitter who knitted the green sweater I did in this same yarn a couple of months ago. So it's a fairly simple sweater, but with a little bit of cable detail, just to add a bit of interest. Nothing too complicated. So if you want something relaxing and easy, because it's knitted in the round, it's a lot of stocking stitch. Well, it's knitted in the round to the underarms, so it's a lot of stocking stitch. A little bit of cable just to keep you interested, but nothing too complicated. But a very classic, simple, wearable design, I think. So that is the sweater I had in this issue of Knitting magazine, which is issue 239, which is in the shops in the UK now. So that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and leave me a comment and let me know what you think of these designs. Do you fancy knitting one of them? If so, which one? Have you tried brioche before? I have several brioche videos now, and some more that will probably come up after this video, and I will have a brioche online course coming out soon, so do make sure you sign up to my newsletter. The link is below this video so that you don't miss out, because when I launch my brioche online course, there will be a launch discount. If you're watching this at some point in the future, all my workshops and online courses will be linked below, so just click on that link. But do sign up for my newsletter, because I do run special offers from time to time. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I will see you in the next video.